Okay, so one thing I want to talk about, a little more of the little bad, well, this is not small bad news, but we gotta have to deal with it. So here's the thing. Water responds to our emotions. So if I put negative emotions into this water and talk about bad stuff, this water is going to react to it. But the good news is, if I put a lot of love and gratitude into this water again after that, and I just totally just love and appreciation, the good news is that those emotions, those feelings, are way more powerful than the negative ones. Okay? Now, so keep that in mind. This is very important you understand that. Light is stronger than darkness. However, there is no way you will learn about light without understanding darkness. And there is a saying in India. I've done a lot of Indian stuff, yoga traditions, Kriya yoga. I went to India many times, and my whole life has been around all that. So I have a lot of my way of thinking comes from the ancient Vedic traditions, and one of them is that, and I don't know if we're doing this in the West as well, but one of the sayings is that when you have a child, if your child does not learn how to cry and learn about pain, it will never learn about love. It will never learn how to love and about love. This is very important we understand that. So the bandwidth of the human experience has to be wide. A sign of an advanced being is someone who can go very high in frequency and very low. And it can visit down into these very dark corridors of creation, of reality, because that is God too. This is divine too. Because the more you stretch this, the higher the rubber band will fly. Right? So you can go very high if you can go very low. And so a lot of spiritual traditions are saying, oh, it's all about enlightenment and awakening, and let's just positive thinking, and it's all good and all that stuff, when in reality what you're doing is you're cutting out half of creation. I don't know if you noticed, but there's a lot of stuff going on here that is not exactly high vibrational. Enlightenment means to include everything, right? To embrace all of it without getting attached to it and stuck with it. But you are not afraid of looking at it. And so, with that said, the negative thing I want to say is the fact that some of you may have seen that I was sending out EMF 5G live event some time ago, and I was sitting in front of a bunch of people telling them how crazy that is, what is going on the planet, and also that we need to protect ourselves against it. So I made a whole 1.5 hours, I think it was 1.5 hours, where I'm sitting ranting about EMF and 5G non-stop, and also to teach people what to do about it. So if you want this, you can buy this on the website dharmaportal.com. I think it's $27. Yeah, it's $27. I need to make a living, sorry. So, but here's the thing. When I'm sitting on a water retreat course, I need to talk about the EMF. Why? Because if you let's take an example. If you take a microwave oven and you put a glass of water inside, and you turn on the microwave oven, what happens is this water will start boiling within very, very short time. What happens with the microwaves is that the microwave radiation actually vibrates each water molecule. It just makes it flick up and down like 1 billion times a second, or maybe more than that, billions of times per second, like so fast, like, and which will create friction, which will create heat, which will make the water boil. And water that has gone through a microwave is very, very unhealthy. There's studies out there showing where they microwave water and cool it down so it's room temperature, and then they take another water, room temperature, and they water a plant in a pot next to each other, and one of them only gets the microwave water and the other one only gets the other water. And guess what? The microwave water plant dies. It totally just dies. It can't live. Okay, so that's an extreme expression and version of what microwave radiation is doing to water. And since you are 99 molecules out of 100 is a water molecule inside of you, we need to pay attention to this. So there's an assault not only on tap water from pipes, etc., but there's also an assault on you from electromagnetic radiation. And it has a huge influence on your consciousness. I will not go too deep into this. Get that program, because this is not going to be an EMF course. We have only one weekend. And so, but you need to know that you can structure your water, you can make it the best, and you can sit and put all your prayers and wishes and all these things. But if you do that right next to your Wi-Fi router, and even worse, what I have seen, and my friends, they hate me for it, because this is a pattern that I see in human beings everywhere, including in my own home, when they come to visit, which is they put their mobile phone on the table, and then they have their water or their tea or whatever they're drinking on the table as well. Because everything is on the table, right? We put everything on the table. So there's a mobile phone right next to your water that you're programming. You're programming your water with that mobile phone, and then you drink it. And every time I see my friends do this, I just flip out. I'm just like, this is not going to happen here. So your phone, when you come to see me, it's in flight mode. Nobody has a phone on in my place anymore. It's like I just turned into this Nazi dictator, and I don't have many friends, but it's okay. They don't pollute me. Okay, Boris, he's sitting there. He's totally chill. He gets it. Yeah. So don't put your phone next to your water. Turn off your Wi-Fi router. Okay, so we need to do this. And then the other thing is, wherever you're storing, I'm going to be talking about what you can do for your water and how to structure it and make it so all that information, the Akashic records, all that stuff opens up if you, in your consciousness, open up and bond with this water the correct way, where you and this water start to really pay attention to each other and you start the conversation, you begin the dance, you begin this exploration. But for you to do that, you gotta have to eliminate all these disruptive factors that coincidentally was put here by our governments, right? Telecommunications industry is a $17 trillion industry. $17 trillion, which is enough money to pay off the debt of United States, like this. They can buy governments, officials, politicians, they buy laws, they can buy countries, they can buy anything. They have so much money, it doesn't even matter. 5G is coming out. 5G is military frequencies that's going to hurt people a lot. You can do mind control with microwave radiation. You can put voices inside people's heads. You can induce cancer. You can do. They are killing the children. That's why we have autistic children and neurodegenerate diseases coming now full on because of microwave radiation. All this is coming for humanity, and it's all related to water. This is linked to water because they know how water responds to these frequencies. And so how can they put a voice inside your head with a microwave frequency? That's easy. Remember, memory, which is water and light. So you have water and light inside. You have also 8 billion magnetite, highly sensitive magnetite crystals inside your brain that can sense even the smallest changes in the atmosphere, in the magnetic field of this planet, and even the sun, flares, etc. You are a human antenna, human cosmic antenna. You are a being of frequency. Every single organ in your body is vibrating at specific frequencies depending on time of day, the circadian biology, and how you feel and what people are thinking and what's going on. All this is related to water. You are this refined, divine instrument that is designed to pick up on the smallest cosmic nuances that this universe is bringing to you. There's people who can even feel the stars. We all are feeling it, but a lot of us are not paying attention. So we are these very highly refined beings of light water and frequency, magnetism. And then you place these Wi-Fi systems and 5G and all that stuff around, and we just think it's all fine and dandy. I think water has a message for us. It has something to say about this. It has something to say about this. So you gotta have to turn off your Wi-Fi. And if you're sitting on Wi-Fi right now, don't turn it off right now because I want to talk to you. But after this, turn it off, okay? Turn it off for good. Everything here is fiber optics and LAN cables, these Ethernet cables. I don't have any wireless anything, and my mobile phone is constantly turned off. People are upset, they can't call me, too bad. Too bad. I talk to people on the internet, and that's how it is. The other thing is also, water responds to the 50-60 hertz frequencies with the wiring in the walls. The wiring in your walls are creating an electromagnetic field pulsating at 50-60 times per second. And that has a huge influence on water as well. And what happens is, if you're sleeping in a bedroom with that close to your head, because it's going through the walls, you're being blasted with this, that your internal waters are being blasted with this, and you can get sick very fast. They say it takes about 5 years to get cancer or something like that from these forms of influences. So you gotta have to clean up your place. Now, what I do is I turn off all my breakers in the house at night. When I go to bed, I turn it all off. And the fridge is fine. If you have a somewhat new fridge, all your food will be fine, because you sleep about 8-9 hours. It's fine. You flick them on, it starts running again, and your food will be fine. Mine is fine. And I'm in Ecuador where it's hot. So turn that off, sleep like a baby at night, and turn off everything. And don't have a mobile phone in the bedroom. Turn it off. And also the water, we're going to do some water experimentation together. I'm going to tell you what you can do to actually bring your water back to its original pristine state. So the storage of your water, where you keep your water, you got to have to keep it at least 3 feet away from any electrical outlets or appliances, etc. You got to have to keep it away, because the water will pick up on it and it will influence the structure of the water. Okay, does this make sense? Yes, EMF can cause nightmares when you're sleeping, and more than that, it will also kill you. So I'm serious about this. Like, people think I'm a drama queen sometimes, and I'm like, well, you haven't looked at the research. I have. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. So if you do the research, your homework on this, you're gonna get surprised. So, but this is the dark stuff we're talking about now. Remember the whole spectrum. Soon we're gonna go into all the cool stuff that empowers you and so you can see how you take charge of your own health and your own future exploration of consciousness and what's potential on this planet. Orgonite, okay, we gotta have to take this one. Okay, so I would like you guys to go on my forum. Go to dharmaportal.com. In there is a forum, and before you do it, just know anybody who signs up who does not use their own real name in the profile, I will not approve them. And if you sign up with a profile using your real name and I approve you, if you still don't upload a profile picture of yourself in the profile after a couple of weeks, if you don't do that, you're deleted as well. So we would have had thousands of people in there if I didn't have these rules. We only have like 50, 60, or maybe 100 people now, I don't remember. And the reason for that is because I want to keep this intimate. I want to know who you are. You know who I am, so I want to know who you are. And let's talk together and keep it personal. And so everybody knows each other in there. It's like a little tribe. This is the collective consciousness group, and we are all into all this geeky stuff and water and all this stuff, what's going on in the world, all these things. So there's a lot of stuff in there. I highly recommend you to sign up. But this is the rules. You've got to have to use your real name and put a picture of yourself in the profile. And in there, I shared a video clip because I'm moving around in all these New Age spiritual communities, and they are big on tensor rings, orgonite, shungite, and Q-links, and all kinds of things. And I've been in this game. I've done a lot of all that stuff. I have placed, I would not lie if I said to you, I've been placing thousands and thousands of orgonite tower busters under mobile phone masts and etc. I mean, I had truckfuls of this stuff that I scattered all over. I was living in Thailand at that time. And so I've done a lot of that, a lot of pyramid power. I bought a lot of these devices and machines, all that stuff. So it's not like I'm completely new to this. But there's a man called Dr. Dietrich Klinghardt, who I admire very much. I think he's one of the most intelligent people out there. And you can find his information. I will also attach a link to this video. You can find his information on YouTube, where he sits and talks about a lot of stuff. And he's a doctor curing people from all kinds of diseases. And one of the biggest things, well, actually the biggest thing that he's saying is he's not even going to see you as a patient unless you fix your EMF situation. And he's been interviewed about all this stuff. And one of the things that he says that is really, really, really strong with me, that I really take literally, is that there was an experiment done with some chicken coop. So there was 2 chicken houses, and in one chicken house, both chicken houses were surrounded by Wi-Fi signals and mobile phones and all these antennas, etc. So both chicken houses were radiated. One chicken house, however, got a lot of these EMF protective devices installed that is supposed to transform the frequency bands into some positive stuff so it doesn't hurt the body, and it transform it, all that stuff, right? We're not talking shielding, like stopping the signal from coming, but more like transforming the signal into whatever is good for you. And then they install all these devices, many, many different ones. And what happened with the chickens is that the chickens that got radiated, that had no protection, did not look happy, and they didn't produce many eggs. They did produce eggs, but not so many. The other group was producing double the amount of eggs and looked really good and healthy, and they were using the whole place, where these chickens over here, the bad one that got radiated, they didn't want to sleep in certain corners and certain areas, and they were not, feeling good. So they was like, okay, it seems to be working. Then they let the experiment continue and continue and continue. And what happened is all the chickens that were so-called protected died before any of the unprotected chickens. So basically the unprotected chickens that produced a lot of eggs and looked like they were healthy, the protected chickens that looked healthy and all that stuff, they actually were being destroyed, but they couldn't feel anything because they were kind of protected. And the other ones were attacked, but their body responded to it, so their immune system kicked in, and all the energy inside the body was focused upon repairing and fixing the body, and despite that they didn't feel good, at least they were repairing themselves. So here's the thing. When you use all these devices, it can give you a false sense of safety and security, which is not going to help you. It's not going to serve you in the long run. So this is his message, and for me, it struck a very deep chord, because I have had, you wouldn't believe it. I had like so many devices and pyramids and all kinds of things around all my devices, and I sat in front of the computer, and I could just feel something was not right, and I did not feel I was getting better. There was something not cooking. There was something going on, until I just basically turned off all the equipment. And I made radical changes of how I'm exposing myself to it, and I started feeling much better right away, despite all this protective stuff and pendulums and necklaces and things on my arms and legs and grounding and all these things. So my question to you is, with the EMF, not only these devices are expensive, but are you willing to bet your life on the fact that you believe what these people who are making these devices, it's true, and that it actually works? Are you willing to bet your life on it? And I can tell you, Dr. Dietrich Klinghardt is not. He's not even willing to bet his patient's life on it. He says the only thing that is working is shielding, meaning you wrap your mobile phone in aluminum foil and you can't reach the signal. It will not ring if you try to ring it. The signal is shut down. Or you shut off on the wall. You can use paint on the wall. You can use curtains that are blocking the signals from outside. You can do all kinds of shielding. Like you can have bed sheets that are shielding. You can do all kinds of things. I'm talking in detail on the EMF webinar. I talk in detail about that. And so go in and check that out, and you will see everything about solutions and how to protect yourself. But again, are you willing to bet your life on it? So take it easy with that. Don't necessarily trust the gadgets that they're going to help you. Unless I see some real practical studies, long-term studies where I can see the longevity and lifespan of whatever is being tested upon is actually improved, etc., compared to the control group, I'm not going to bet my life on it. So that's a long rant on the EMF, but I don't want to spend too much time on it. So I am protecting myself against EMF by not having any. So for example, my keyboard, like I don't touch, this is my keyboard, it's with a USB. My mouse, USB. I do not touch my laptop. I'm not touching it because it's full of 50, 60 hertz frequencies. And the moment I touch my laptop, my internal waters start reacting right away. So I don't touch my laptop. I do everything USB. I have no Wi-Fi. I don't have any mobile phone. This house is wired in such a way that all cables are shielded, and every single outlet is very, very minimal. There's very few outlets in this house, and I shut off the breakers at night, and everything is grounded. I'm grounded. I have these grounding pads, etc., and mats, and we're talking grounding, like serious grounding with the copper rods, etc. So there's a lot that I'm doing to protect myself from EMF, but it's not by wearing some gadget or putting something on the table and thinking everything's fine. It's about real protection, like the real deal, not just spend $2,000 on some device. So that's the bad news about all that. Well, it's actually good news. You're saving a lot of money. But you got to get out of it. And so this is destroying the water molecules. This is affecting the water in your system, and this is what is going to make you sick. So we have really toxic water coming in through the tap. We have the EMF, 5G stuff, Bluetooth as well. You got to have to be aware of the Internet of Things that is coming for you now. The Internet of Things. Stay out of that. You got to have to unplug. Get on cables with the Internet. Everything cable, wired. Okay? Now the other one that is also having... so there's a lot of things going on with where they're attacking the internal waters. So, we can talk about chemtrails, blocking the rays of the sun, etc. There's not much you can do about it except get away. I mean... I'm here in Ecuador. There's very little going on with that. I mean, some people claim that there's chemtrails here. I don't see them. But I'm not an expert. But I don't see what I think is chemtrails. What I think I know is chemtrails. I don't see any of that. But maybe it is. The other thing is this weaponized food. So there's certain combinations of food you buy in the supermarket. When you eat that, it's also having an influence on your internal waters. The water will respond to certain chemical combinations in a very negative way. So you gotta have to look at all that stuff. Okay. this is why I moved to Ecuador, yes. I basically, with all this research that I have done on all these things, I realized that if you want to keep your sanity on a planet like this, and have what is called independent thoughts. So 98% of all the thoughts you have every day is actually repetitive from a pattern that you are running. 98%. This is very important you understand this. Because why are you thinking the same thoughts every day, 98% of the time? Why are you thinking the same thoughts? Well, why are we creatures of habit? Why are we doing things in cycles all the time? Because the prism of the crystalline structure of your water is set in a specific matrix framework. And that is influenced by your parents, your upbringing, the water you drink, the society you live in, the people around you, the sun, all these things. The frequencies, the 5G, the EMF, all that stuff is having an influence on this divine structure that you are. You are the crystalline divine diamond, expressed as your pure consciousness, expressed in this sacred crystalline form. Now, why are you repeating your thoughts and patterns like that? Well, that's because you're set. You're following a specific blueprint. Now, you can change that. You totally can change that. And most people would like to. And they're listening to all these motivational speakers, and they buy this program, that program, and they take this course and that workshop and all that stuff. And it will work for a little while, and then it slips right back into the old stuff. Why is it we have such a hard time changing ourselves? Why is it so difficult to become a better human being? Well, guess what? We are influenced by a lot of external stresses. We are influenced by all these things that I just talked about. And all these things are keeping us in a specific framework that we can't break out of. So you're going to have to do this. You're going to have to make these changes. First, you change the external reality outside of you, and you start seeing that this psychogeometric expression of who you truly are starts becoming more and more refined, and you will see much more beautiful crystalline expressions of you as you truly are in your life expressing itself. That's how you change your 98% patterns of thinking. And that's when you start tapping into actually having independent thoughts by yourself. Now, this is a very, very this is a big topic that it's been on my mind for a long time, because I see a lot of people. They are just a bunch of reactions. They just respond unconsciously to everything in their life. It's like a Coca-Cola machine. I go and I put some money, I press this button, I get Coca-Cola. I press another one, I get Fanta. I press another one, I get a green tea, or whatever it is. You know, I can totally just decide which button I want to press on you, and I know exactly what response I'm going to get. You respond to everything I say according to your previous experience of your life. Your mind will say yes or no to anything I say. It either agrees or disagrees according to your previous experiences in your life. The compiled amount of information that has created this, what you call you, in you now, is going to filter. So I speak to you, the first thing that comes is a filter that is going to decide and interpret and decide whether or not this is information I'm going to be dealing with or not, and if I agree or not. And guess what? A lot of us has been programmed to resist change. We have been programmed to avoid anything that will actually make a difference for you. We have been programmed for this. So you gotta have to break free from the program first before you can even hear what's being said to you, or before you can even make the changes that you want to change in your life. And I'm not saying I'm sitting here with the gospel truth. I'm just saying learning to recognize what is actually radically going to change your life in a direction that you really want. And so we are subconsciously going to seek out all the things that's not going to work. It looks like it's going to work, but it's not going to work. Why? Because we resist change. Because it's such a deep program inside of us that refuses to make any difference and change in that. Why? Because it will be the end of who you think you are. Instead of you becoming who you truly are in your heart. That's a radical change. And that is the change that I'm talking about is coming for humanity now. And so my song to you, the song of this water, is a wake-up call where I'm saying, come join the party. It's time. Away with the old, in with the new, because there is a new way of being, and the water here is here to teach you that, to show you what's possible. But you gotta break free first. You got to break free. So this is a calling, not to me, but to water. The water is calling you. Water is inviting you for this dance. And it's saying, it's time to get real. We've been sleeping long enough. Haven't we? Have we not been sleeping long enough? Isn't it time now to wake up? We can't wait for the politicians and the leaders, so-called leaders. This is going to have to be grassroots. The water is the key. This is what binds us all together. That was a big rant.